just listen. If you want to be a part of our next 7-day challenge, what you're going to want to do is DM me the word transform, okay? DM the word transform, and you'll be able to join the next 7-day challenge if you want to be inside of the live challenge that we're doing right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this. All right. All right. We've got people coming in. I'm going to open up the weight room. All right. Welcome. Welcome. We're on day 3. Welcome to day 3 of the 7-day challenge. If you finish your 2 miles already, put winner in the chat. If you already finished your 2 miles, put winner in the chat. Put winner in the chat. All right. If you already finished your 2 miles, make sure you put winner inside of the chat. And we're going to give everybody some time to get on because our messages are going out right now. So I know more people are going to be coming in, flooding in, working on winning right now. Yup. If you haven't done your 2 miles, then this is going to be your reminder to get it done. Get it done. Get it done. No excuses. Just make a way to get it done. You knew you had to do it. So we got to get it done. All right. So I only seen one person put winner in the chat, but we got more people online. If you've done your 2 miles, put winner in the chat. All right. If you haven't done your 2 miles, put on the way. If you've done your 2 miles, put winner in the chat. If you haven't done your 2 miles, put on the way. All right. But winners focus on winning, meaning we're going to focus on getting it done. It might be a long day, might have been a challenging day, might be a little bit tired today, but we're going to make a way, right? Because there's 3 things that we focus on. Winners commit, winners finish, and winners make a way, right? And if we can't do it perfect, then do it ugly. But I'd rather you do a mile than no miles. I'd rather you do half a mile than no miles, right? It doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? So winners commit, winners make a way, winners finish, and when in doubt, do it ugly, all right? Get what you can get. Get what you can get, all right? I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to actually get on for today's class because today's class is very important. We're going to be talking about the Deadly Tri-Fecta, which is honestly taking out more women. When I say taking out, killing more women than anything else, right? More than cancer, more than cigarettes, more than everything. So we're going to talk about it, what it is, and how you can reverse it or prevent yourself from having it, right? And why it's so dangerous. And so we're going to break that down in just a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen now so we can get ahead of the curve. So that when everybody gets in here, we can get started. But welcome. If you're just hopping into the live, like I said, if you finish your 2 miles, I want you to put winner in the chat, right? I want you to put winner in the chat, and I want you to put the affirmation of the day in the chat, right? I know the affirmation is I'm capable of doing hard things, but there's another affirmation that we have inside of the actual challenge workbook. I want you to put that in the chat as well. All right. I want to know who has not been on social media, right? Because you're not supposed to be on social media outside the group. That's the mental reset we're supposed to be doing. Who's not been watching TV? That's what I want. And it's not just the 2 miles, not just tracking your food, but every part, right? Who's been logging their stuff? It's very, very important that we do every part of the plan. One part of reaching your goals is what we talked about during orientation is being a good student. A good student follows the plan, right? A good student follows a plan because we recognize if we knew exactly what we should be doing, we wouldn't be here. So recognizing that we're here because we need help, we got to follow the plan as it's set, because if you're here, that means you believe I could help you hit your goal, right? So with that being said, we got to give it 110%, which simply means following the plan, how it's written out, 100%, right? And then you can see what happens when you truly stick to a plan, not partially do it, not halfway commit. And if there's anyone that's listening in right now that signed up, that's been coming to the calls, but you're not actually doing anything, it's time for you to activate. It's time to execute. All right. It's time to execute. It's time to execute, right? Everybody put in the chat, execute. You gotta execute, right? So many people spend so much time talking, and getting the feel good from the conversation. It's time to show up, execute, get it done. We must get it done. We have to stop making reasons not to do it. We got to stop having conversations about why it's so hard, and we just have to get it done. All right. Because at the end of the day, it's never going to be a perfect time, but it's the right time. You took the time to come here tonight. Don't be the person that comes here every day, watches, listens, gets motivated, and does nothing. Right. Break the cycle. We got to break the cycle. Right. So today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to get right into it. Today we're going to be talking about, can everybody hear me and see the screen? Okay, perfect. Let me make sure. Okay. Okay. Let's get the ball rolling. So the deadly trifecta, why it's dangerous and how to avoid it, right? So 3 silent killers are targeting women across America. Learn how to recognize, prevent, and reverse them before it's too late, right? So before I get into what the deadly trifecta is, why don't you guys give me your best guess on what you think one of them is, right? What do you think? I mean, it's on the screen, but what do you think one of the deadly trifectas is? Put it in the chat. High blood pressure, absolutely. And can you guys see, or do y'all need me to zoom it in? I'll zoom it in a little bit if you're on your phone. There we go. I think that's about as big as I can make it, though. High cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure. All right, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Perfect. So I'll zoom in a little more if I can. All right, I think that's it. All right. So why does this matter, right? The deadly trifecta is going to be high blood pressure plus diabetes plus high cholesterol. Having all 3 combined, that creates the deadly trifecta. It's very, very, very dangerous. Do you have any of those? Put what you have in the chat, right? Because we're going to get rid of it, right? We want to get rid of it before it's too late, because there is a point where it's going to be too late for you to reverse some of these health conditions. Somebody says all, none, thankfully, good. Which ones do you have? Put in the chat. Nothing to be ashamed of, but it is a reason. It's something to be aware of, so you can make a change. All right. So together, these conditions quietly destroy your health and lead to heart disease. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women in America. That's crazy, right? Would you have guessed that? More than cancer, more than drugs, more than cigarettes, more than all the other stuff. Heart disease. Somebody already has heart disease? Oh man. So heart disease kills more women every year than all cancers combined. So every single cancer combined, heart disease still kills more. And the scary truth is that many women don't even know they have one or more of these health conditions until it's too late. All right. And so why are they so dangerous? So high blood pressure is the silent killer, right? It's called the silent killer. A lot of people have high blood pressure. I know I don't know specifics for all adults, but I know in the African American, the Black community, 1 in 2 adults has high blood pressure. So it's very normalized. It's very like, oh, it's not a big deal because your grandparents have it, your parents have it, everybody has it. But it is a big deal. And it's a big deal, and it's very dangerous because it really has no symptoms, all right, until it does, right? And you have a heart attack. So constant high pressure scrapes and scars artery walls, making them stiff and fragile. And so one thing that I really like to hit on is that you having high blood pressure on day 1 and you having high blood pressure on year 10 is not the same, right? Over time, it forces your heart to work harder, leading to heart enlargement and eventually weakness. So your body is getting damaged year over year, month over month. The longer you have it, the more damage you're doing to yourself. And so the damaged artery walls become sticky and making it easier for cholesterol to build up. This accelerates plaque formation. The heart pumping against constant pressure thickens like an overworked muscle, eventually weakening, right? So clogged arteries plus a tired heart equals heart attacks, heart failure, and strokes, right? And that's very dangerous. Everybody put in the chat, danger. Put in the chat, danger. So the longer you have it, the more clogged your arteries get, the more tired your heart gets, the more likely you're going to have a heart attack, right? The more likely you're going to have heart failure, the more likely you're going to have a stroke. And just because and I talked to a lot of women that go, well, I didn't want to take the medication, so I just stopped taking the medication. Okay, you deciding that you're going to pretend you don't have high blood pressure doesn't negate the fact that you're still dealing with the symptoms of high blood pressure. So you have to make some changes for the long term. We're going to talk about exactly what steps you should be taking. But put in the chat, number one is high blood pressure, the silent killer. Put in the chat, high blood pressure. And if you don't have this right now, good. We want to make sure that you stay away from it, because just because you don't have it now doesn't mean you won't get it. Right? Just because you don't, let me say this again, just because your doctor hasn't told you that you have it, don't have it, doesn't mean that you won't get it. And especially if you only go to the doctor once a year or every 6 months, you might have it and not know it until 6 months later after you already having it, right? Number two is going to be type 2 diabetes. Who's my diabetics in the chat? Put DB in the chat, right? The blood sugar crisis. Why is it dangerous to have diabetes? Again, another thing that people are just so used to hearing about. It's very common in my family. We had a family member that had to get an amputation when I was younger because they had diabetes. And diabetes is actually the leading cause of lower extremity amputations, meaning it's the number one reason why people have to get their legs, their feet, their toes cut off. Because what happens when you have diabetes is you can lose feeling in the bottom of your feet, in your lower body. And what happens is, especially if you're elderly or older, and no one's checking the bottom of your feet, if you step on something, it can get infected, right? And then once it gets into your blood, in order for you to protect the rest of your body, you have to amputate it where the infection is, or it'll spread to the rest of your body, right? So you can look that up for yourself. But that's the number one reason people have to get their legs cut off, which is crazy. And so, you know, excess sugar in the blood acts like acid on your blood vessels and nerves. It inflames and damages vessel walls daily, which again, it's another thing where over time, you are going to be damaging your body more and more and more and more. And while you're like, I'm just too busy to make these lifestyle changes, I just don't have the money to invest in getting help, I just don't have the time to put into making the transformation. All the while you're making these reasons, you're literally dying from the inside, right? So what you want to do is remember this. The investment up front is always cheaper than the investment later, right? The cost later is going to be so expensive. It might be too expensive. You might not be able to pay it. You might actually die, right? That's the reality of what's going on with this group. And this is why I work with this group of women, because it's not a thing where it's like, oh, I just want to fit into my dress and I just want to look nice on my vacation. That's nice too. We're at the point where if you don't make some changes, and thank God if you don't have it yet, because then we can get some of this weight off and you can never have to worry about it. But you can change your life before your life changes you, right? That's one thing that me and my dad were talking about, because he was at the point where he was getting to this point where he was probably going to have high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, or all three, because he was severely overweight, right? And he's in his late 50s. Same thing with my sister. I wanted to prevent her from having to experience this, right? So it can even cause blindness, kidney failure, amputations, and nerve damage if uncontrolled. And so it can lead to heart disease, which again is the number one killer of women, right? Because the damaged arteries are more likely to trap cholesterol, high blood sugar, also lowers good HDL cholesterol, so cleanup fails, and diabetes creates a state of constant inflammation, making plaques unstable and more likely to rupture. So, the result is going to be 2 to 4 times higher risk of heart attack or stroke compared to someone without diabetes. And yes, you might have survived this long without it, but I know that almost everyone on here knows someone that's had a heart attack, had a stroke, had a medical emergency early in their life, in their 50s, in their late 40s, that passed with, oh my gosh, I can't believe they died. Why? Because when you don't take things like this seriously, they take people you love away from you. And sometimes you'll take yourself away from the people that you love. And so the last thing is going to be high cholesterol, the artery clogger. Everybody put in the chat, change. We have to make a lifestyle change. We have to make a lifestyle change, right? And so why is dangerous? LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, slips into artery walls and builds up plaque. The triglycerides add more fat to the fire, making plaque even more unstable. And the low HDL, the good cholesterol, means less cleanup. So fat continues to pile up silently. And so this is going to lead to heart disease again, because the plaques narrow the arteries and limit blood flow. When plaque ruptures, the blood forms a blood clot. And if the clot blocks blood flow to the heart, you're going to have a heart attack. right? So there's three things that on their own can lead to you having a heart attack. When you have all three combined, right, you're almost guaranteed to have a heart attack, to have a stroke. If it blocks flow to the brain, you're going to have a stroke, right? And so the result is it's very sudden. So if you've ever had someone that you love, like, oh my gosh, I thought they were fine, and then they had a stroke, right? Sudden catastrophic events with little to no warning. And so the perfect storm is going to be high blood pressure injures artery walls, high cholesterol fills those injuries with plaque, and diabetes accelerates the inflammation and makes plaque rupture more easily. So all three together, you're setting yourself up for death, right? You're setting yourself up for a heart attack, for a stroke. And the reality is, if you wait too long, some of this stuff is not reversible, right? And I'm gonna go over some of the symptoms and signs that you want to look out for, that even if your doctor hasn't told you that you have it, that you might be leading into having it, okay? Having one of these health conditions, and you don't want to have any of them. All right, so together they form the perfect storm for heart disease, heart attacks, and strokes, the number one killer of women in America. But put in the chat, I want to live. I want to live. Put in the chat. Right. And I don't want anyone that's on here is like, okay, I don't have any of this stuff. You don't have any of it yet. No one has it usually automatically. You can prevent it by making changes. But if you're on here, that means you need to lose weight. Right. And so we're going to talk about some of the things you could do to prevent this from happening to you, because it doesn't have to happen. But let's understand some of the measurements when it comes to, measuring these things to make sure you stay in the right range. So we're talking about mmHg, which is millimeters of mercury. And that's just how much pressure your blood pushes on artery walls. I'm not going to go into crazy details. Just, if you're in VIP, I'll send you the slides if you want to go into more detail. MGDL is going to be milligrams per deciliter. And so it's going to be how many milligrams of sugar or fat are floating in 1/10 of a liter of your blood. And then A1C is going to be a test that shows your average blood sugar over 3 months, right? And so if we're talking about high blood pressure or hypertension, these are the numbers that are going to show you your normal numbers elevated, which you're not, at high blood pressure yet, but this is kind of like the warning zone. So if you're in here, your doctor's probably like, okay, like you're getting a little out of control. And then here is you have high blood pressure, right? This is the range you have high blood pressure. And then you like are trying to kill yourself if you are here, right? So if you know your numbers and you're in these top two, we got to make a change. Does anyone know if their numbers, if they're in this range? We gotta make a change. Okay, we gotta make a change. So usually silent killer. So what you're gonna look for as far as symptoms: morning headaches. So if you're having constant morning headaches, and say me, coach, and chat, if any of these symptoms are you, cause often getting dizziness, blurred vision, shortness of breath, and then nosebleeds. A risk marker would be a waist that is bigger than 35 inches for my ladies. Belly fat gain. So does anyone have a lot more fat in their midsection than they've ever had? Poor sleep / snoring, high stress, and then if you have a family history of it. These are things that are a risk marker. Doesn't mean you automatically have it. Doesn't mean you should self-diagnose. It means you need to pay attention and be conscious, because this could be in your future if you don't make a change. Does anyone have any of these symptoms? Put me, coach, in the chat. And does anyone have any of these risk markers? Your waist is over 35 inches. You have a lot of belly fat, right? Almost for all of these, having a lot of belly fat is going to put you in the danger risk zone. So if you have a lot of belly fat, which the reason why we work with women at 40, 60 is because as your body starts to change and your estrogen starts to drop, your muscle mass starts to drop, and the way your body distributes fat, it starts to go more to your midsection. That's when people start popping up like, oh my gosh, I got high blood pressure, and you're 45 or you're 40, even in your late 30s. Oh my gosh, I got type 2 diabetes. What happened? This is what happened. Okay. So let's keep going. So again, what's happening inside when we have high blood pressure? High pressure scrapes artery walls. So the blood flowing with excessive force damages delicate vessel linings. And this is not like if you're just having high blood pressure for a long time, you're just continually damaging it more and more and more and more and more. So your body's gonna eventually give it out, and you're gonna have that heart attack. Artery stiffen and scar. So repeated damage causes permanent hardening and loss of flexibility. So once it's scarred, it's really no coming back. You're not gonna, for a lot of the times, you're not gonna be able to get off of medication at that point if you wait too long. If you have high blood pressure, how long have you known you've had it? Put it in the chat. Heart thickens and weakens over time. So Working harder against resistance, the heart muscles enlarge, then fails. And then organs under attack is going to be your brain. That's going to give you a stroke, kidney failure, then eyes, vision loss, because that's what's going to happen with all this damage. So early stages, pay attention. Silent injury begins is reversible weight loss, sodium reduction, potassium intake, walking, and strength training. So if you catch it early, if you just were diagnosed with high blood pressure in the last year or so, then you can reverse it pretty easily. Really, by dropping 10% of your body weight, you can reduce it. Does anyone have high blood pressure on here, and how long have you had it? It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's the reason why you're on here, right? So you've had it for 17 years. You can't wait another day, because every day you wait, you're putting yourself in the risk where you could scar your arteries. And then at that point, you're going to have to be on medication for the rest of your life. Years pass, arteries stiffen permanently, heart enlarges, more difficult to reverse. So if you're in years past, which I would say years past is like past 3 years, right? So if you're at 17 years, that you need to make some serious changes. Late stage, stroke, dementia, kidney failure, heart failure, arteries too scarred, meds become lifelong. So when we get to the late stage, like my grandma, 78, she's had high blood pressure for the past 30 years. Unfortunately, she's probably never coming off of it, right? She's getting stronger, she's getting healthier, and she can probably reduce how much she's taking, but it's been 30 years. She's probably never getting off of it. I'm not even 30 years old, right? So she's had it longer than I've been alive. I turn 30 next month. So that's crazy, right? That's a long, long time that you're damaging yourself in the inside. And we're always making these excuses. Oh, I'm just too busy. Oh, I don't know what I should be doing. Listen, you can keep saying that, right? But what's one of my rules for winners? Winners make a way, right? Winners make a way. Winners are going to make a way, because it's going to cost you so much in the long run if you don't make a way. So the reality is, I'm going to show you just how dangerous it is to push this off. It can literally kill you. And if it doesn't kill you, it's going to make your life unenjoyable at a high level. So here's some ways you could track it on your own if you can't make it to the doctor. A home blood pressure cuff for your arm or wrist. You can check in the morning and the evening. And then a lot of times you can get free checks at the pharmacy. And so I'll show you guys later. Our client Latifah was someone that had high blood pressure, diabetes, and she had PCOS. And after she dropped 100 pounds, she got completely off medication and is now living med free. So it's definitely possible for you to make this change, right? But you have to catch it and make a decision. So the next thing's gonna be type 2 diabetes, which we're talking about blood sugar, right? So here's some signs and symptoms that you're gonna be looking for, right? So fatigue and brain fog. Does anybody have that often? Brain fog often. Just because I say one of the symptoms doesn't mean you have it. It just means it could be a early sign, right? Your body can't properly use sugar for energy. Constant thirst, frequent urination, kidneys working overtime to flush excess sugar. Is that anybody? Let me get a yes. Blurry vision, high sugar levels affect the lens of your eyes, right? Slow healing cuts, frequent infections, high sugar impairs immune function and circulation, tingling, numbness in hands or feet, nerve damage from prolonged high blood pressure. Does anybody have that? Yes, it's very dangerous. This is what causes people to get their limbs cut off, because what happens is eventually you start to lose feeling. So you're not gonna you can step on a nail, and while a normal person could be like, they're gonna feel a shock of pain, you will not feel it. And then it eventually will get infected, and then you'll eventually have to get it cut off if you don't catch it soon enough. Right. So these are things you want to pay attention to, because it might not get you now. It might not get you till you're 60 and no one's checking your feet and you're just a bit older now and you're walking around with this damaged foot that never got treated, and voila, now you have one leg. And this is not a joke. This is what really happens, and this happened to people in my family. So I don't want it to happen to you. And then belly fat gain. Insulin resistance promotes fat storage around organs. Does anyone on here have PCOS, hyperthyroidism? A lot of the women that typically have PCOS have insulin resistance, or if you are pre-diabetic or on your way to being diabetic, insulin resistance is typically a precursor of that. So we want to make sure that we reduce that belly fat, right? If you can grab your stomach with both hands, with 2 hands, we've got to get rid of that, right? Not just for the looks, not just for vanity, for life. You gotta, you have to, you have to make the change for life. Again, I'm not diagnosing you. I just want you to pay attention to the symptoms. And if you're recognizing you have a lot of different symptoms, one, go to the doctor. But then 2, make a lot of the changes we're going to go over today. And even the stuff we're doing in the 7-day challenge will literally improve. If you track your blood pressure from when you started to when you finish the 7-day challenge, if you follow everything that I told you to do, if you look at your blood sugar levels, everything will be improved within 7 days. I guarantee it. Right? If you follow everything. in the 7-day challenge. And that's the whole point of the challenge, right? Is that to show you that in 7 days, if you can actually be a good student and follow instructions and commit and follow a winning mentality, which is to commit, to make a way, and to finish, you could change your life and you don't have to deal with this stuff. All right. So what's happening on the inside, right? So cells ignore insulin. So sugar stuck in the blood can't enter cells for energy. High sugar burns vessels, so excess glucose inflames and damages blood vessels. Pancreas overworks, so produces more insulin until it burns out. And the organs under attack are going to be your eyes, kidneys, nerves, and heart. You're going to also notice that a lot of the things under attack are the same with each of these health conditions: your eyes, your kidneys, your nerves, your heart. And that's why when you overlap all of them, you get a heart attack, you get a stroke, right? So here's some home tracking options: glucose meter, finger prick, right? Continuous glucose monitor, and an at-home A1C kits. Okay. And then we're going to talk about high cholesterol and triglycerides, right? So this is just showing you your numbers for high cholesterol, LDL, HDL, and triglycerides. So these are the target levels that you want to be at. And then it's saying that most Americans exceed these health ranges. So if you don't know your numbers, you probably don't know what you're looking at. But I'm going to put this inside of the VIP. So if you want to go, when you go to the doctor, you can look at how far off you are. All right. So here is the problem with this, right? It's usually very silent until it's too late. Rare visible signs. So very rare: fatty bumps and white rings in the eyes. And the risk marker is going to be belly fat, poor diet, smoking, and menopause. So a lot of my ladies that are going through menopause, you're going to be at a higher risk for a lot of this stuff because your body's going to do a lot of changes. And it's not that you can't prevent it. It's just that if you're not aware of the changes that are happening, that your estrogen progesterone levels are dropping, even testosterone levels are dropping, that your muscle mass is decreasing, especially if you're in like your 50s, mid 50s, 60s, you're experiencing sarcopenia, which is accelerated muscle loss. You're gonna be like, feel like you went from, okay, I was like a little bit overweight, but I still kind of felt okay, to like, oh my gosh, where did all this weight come from? Is that anybody's experience? Yeah, so it's kind of like getting hit like by a getting hit without seeing it coming. Like you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? Even if you're someone that used to carry the weight really well, it's almost shocking, right? So, LDL sticks under artery lining. So bad cholesterol penetrates vessel walls. This is what's happening. This is why it's so dangerous. Oxidizes and triggers immune responses. So body treats oxidized LDL as a foreign invader, and plaque buildup begins. So immune cells and cholesterol form dangerous deposits and plaques rupture. So the blood clot forms, and this was going to lead to a heart attack or a stroke. So a lot of times the doctors might tell you you need to lose weight, you need to eat better so you can get, away from high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure. But I want to break down, one, exactly what's happening to you internally, and then two, is what it's going to lead to. You are going to have a heart attack or a stroke if you don't make this change. I'm just going to tell you point blank, period. I think that a lot of times people like to be optimistic, but not make any real adjustments. And false optimism is going to give you a heart attack over time. Does that make sense? I would much rather tell you the truth. Like, hey, if you don't lose this weight, yes, you still can say you look great and you feel confident and whatever the case may be, you're going to have a heart attack if you don't make some changes. I don't know if it's going to come tomorrow or it's going to be in 10 years or 20 years, but you will have a heart attack or a stroke, and it will ruin your life if you don't make these changes. Does that make sense? So the reason why we make the 7-day challenge is that, one, I want to reach as many people as possible, so that if you can't afford coaching, or even if you can't afford coaching and you're just stuck, something that's obtainable that can get you started and give you the right foundation, because there's just so much nonsense that is a distraction. It's a shiny thing, and it's discouraging when you keep trying stuff and it's not working, right? So I want to give you guys a no BS approach that we know works for a fact, and I want to also give you the awareness of that you're in danger. If you're close to 40, 50, 60, and you are overweight and you don't have any of these conditions diagnosed yet, right? But you have a large midsection, you have a lot of fat in your midsection, you're still in danger, right? So don't, oh, I'm fine, it's fine. Don't wait till the doctor tells you, oh yeah, you have high blood pressure, for you to make it a priority. You make it a priority now, right now. Set a higher standard for yourself. The standard for yourself to take care of yourself shouldn't be, oh, once the doctor tells me I have high blood pressure, then I'll make it important. Once the doctor tells me I have diabetes, then I'll make it important. No, you're probably not going to make it important. You're going to probably keep doing what you've been doing. So I'm trying to give you the wake up call so you can suck and save your life, because I'm going to tell you what it's going to cost in a little bit. Early years, when you have high cholesterol, fatty streaks appear. Does anybody have high cholesterol on here? It's reversible with diet, fiber, healthy fats, and activity. We've had a lot of women, especially in their 50s, that worked with us that got off of medication completely while working with us in our program. So even in the 50s, so that's very promising. Years have passed. Plaques builds silently. Still time to stabilize and prevent growth. So you can still make some changes. It'll take a little bit more time, but you can still make some changes. And then the last thing is going to be late stage, right? So sudden heart attack or stroke, plaque can't be removed fully, but can be stabilized. So at this point, you're going to have to stay on medication, right? And the late stage is when you can have a sudden heart attack. So that's the thing when you're like, oh, I just saw Uncle Tim the other day. I just saw Auntie. I just saw my grandma. I just saw my friend. I saw my sister. I seen my mom. I thought they were fine. And then they had a heart attack and they died, or they had a heart attack and now they're in the hospital. I'm just talking very plainly because this is real life, right? This is people's real life. And so, yeah, has anyone experienced this in their family, with their loved one, with their friends, with someone that they knew? Put yes, coach, in the chat. I have, right? And so this is why it's very important to me that y'all don't have to experience this on a personal level. And hopefully, if you make a change, you'll help other people make a change in their life. So a big thing for me was little backstory. Or if you didn't find us on Instagram, maybe you found us on Facebook or YouTube. My older sister is in her mid-30s now. And so I have been away from home because I was in the military. And I was in the military since I was 17. So I was away from home for a long time. And so I tried to help my sister over the years to get in shape and lose some weight when she was a bit younger. But she got to the heaviest she'd really ever been. And she was really staying at this high weight for a long time. It's really carrying uh, an enormous amount of fat in her midsection, which, of course, because of my profession and being aware of the dangers, made me very concerned as her brother, right? And so that was one of the big reasons why, like, don't be fooled. It's not the first time I tried to help her, but this is the time where I'm like, no, we have to get this off, because once you have it, right, you're in serious danger. It's harder to get rid of it. But two, if we don't take care of it now, it's going to become a real issue down the line when she's 40, 45, 50. And I would be so sad to have my sister die because we didn't get her to make a lifestyle change. And not just her, other people in my family, but specifically her. So if you're not in that place, but maybe you've seen my sis, or you've seen Latif, or you've seen women that we work with, and you're like, I relate to them. I don't have these health conditions yet, but like the size they're at, the amount of fat they have in the midsection, I'm there. Don't wait, because I take it very seriously, because it is serious. It's the number one thing taking y'all out, right? More than anything else. More than anything else. So you have to really pay attention to it. So why are women that are in their 40s, 60s are at higher risk? Let's break it down. So your estrogen is going to drop, LDL is going to rise, HDL is going to fall, arteries are going to stiffen as protective hormones decline during menopause. Anybody menopause mamas on? This is pay attention, right? Belly fat increases, so visceral fat accumulation raises blood pressure, blood sugar, and triglycerides. And then muscle loss, age-related sarcopenia. Sarcopenia just means the accelerated muscle loss, right? Lowers metabolism and worsens insulin resistance. And then stress and poor sleep. Chronic stress and sleep disruption amplifies all three conditions. How much uninterrupted sleep should you be aiming for as many nights a week as possible? I know you might not be able to do it every night, but as many nights a week as possible. What's the amount of hours we should be aiming for? 7 to 8, right? Somebody said 80. Wow. All right. So this stuff starts early. So even women in their 20s and 30s can quietly build these risks. Waiting until you're in your 40s it's too late. But if you're here, that means we don't have time to make this change. If you're on, even though we work with specifically women 40 to 60, we do have a lot of young women that do watch. And I want to forewarn you, right? And maybe if you guys have daughters or little sisters or nieces, whatever, you can forewarn them too. All right. You should absolutely be worried if you have any of those symptoms that we talked about. So while risk rises with age, the warning signs and early risk factors often begin in the 20s or 30s. So, blood pressure and cholesterol trends, weight gain, especially around the midsection. Again, y'all, the midsection, that fat belly. It's not just messing up your outfit, it's messing up your life. You got to get rid of it. Poor sleep, inactivity, and high stress can start in the 20s and 30s and quietly set the stage for deadly trifecta decades later. Has anyone been struggling with their weight their whole life? Put me, coach, in the chat. If you've been struggling with your weight your whole life, you've been carrying a lot of fat, put me, coach, in the chat. Right? The longer you've been dealing with this, the faster you got to get rid of it. That you have to be like, no, you have to really make a higher standard for yourself. Like, I cannot live like this anymore. I got to be done with this. Right? So the alarming reality is that about half of the U.S. adults meet their clinical criteria for hypertension under current guidelines. That means that many people develop dangerous numbers earlier than they expect. So that means if we got 28 people, well, 27 people live, half of y'all have meet the criteria for hypertension under current guidelines. That's what it's telling us, right? Even if you aren't diagnosed, it's telling you that you probably meet this standard. And so we went over it a lot already. I'm not going to keep going over and over again, but let's drive it home. The weight gain, especially in the belly fat, is going to be danger. Poor sleep patterns, danger. Frequent stress, danger. Family history of diabetes, heart disease, danger, and sedentary lifestyle, meaning you're not moving. That's why during this challenge, we're just focused on simple movement and focusing on quality and quantity with our food and making sure that we are just being consistent, because you could literally take yourself out of these risk zones within 60 days. Lose 10% of your body weight, even 5%. 10%. Everybody put in the chat. Their first goal should be losing 10% of their body weight. If you're 200 pounds, lose 20 pounds. If you're 300 pounds, lose 30 pounds. If you're 400 pounds, drop 40 pounds. If you're 250 pounds, drop 25 pounds. Drop 10%, and you can start to change your life, right? Menopause is the reason for your belly fat. Menopause has definitely made it easier for you to collect belly fat, but you don't have to keep it. You don't have to keep it. Now, if you have the mindset where you're going to blame it on something and that it's got to be permanent, then of course, what I told you guys on the first day, if you say that you're not going to lose weight no matter what, you're not going to lose weight no matter what. But what I've been teaching you this whole time is that winners focus on what? Winners focus on what? Winners focus on winning. So in spite of you going through menopause, having PCOS, hypothyroidism, you can focus on that and say, I can't make my goal because I have this situation. The winner is going to say, in spite of this situation, making it more difficult, because it is more challenging. Don't get me wrong. I feel for you. I'm going to find a way. And we have to be more intentional. Now, I'm making you aware of the changes on what's going on. You know you're losing muscle mass. You know your estrogen is decreasing, progesterone is decreasing, which means we have to be more intentional about what we're doing. What we used to do in the past, maybe go run a couple miles, walk a couple miles, just be eating salads, drinking smoothies when you were younger. That's not going to work anymore. You have to have an intentional system and framework to lose his weight and keep it off for good. Because most of you have lost weight before. 5 pounds, 10 pounds, even 20 pounds, but you got to keep it off. Everybody put in the chat, system, right? That's what we need. So let's keep going. Let's talk about the cost of change versus the cost of staying the same. So this is what it's going to cost you in the long run to do nothing, right? An extra yearly cost of about $2,759 with high blood pressure. Over 20 years, $55,000, routine care and meds. And if you have an event, right? Let's say you have an emergency, an ambulance ride, $1,700 just for the ambulance ride on average. These are averages. I'm not saying in your state this is exactly the number. These are averages, right? A stroke, first year care, 40 to 100,000 off the stroke, right? And this might not be falling on you. It's going to be falling on your family as well, maybe to help, because you might be older by the time this happens, or you might not be able to work after this happens. As many people lose, are paralyzed in half their body. They can't move around. Half their face could be paralyzed. These things are dangerous. It's going to cost you if you don't make these changes. Nursing home care, as you get older, if you don't take care of yourself and your family has to take care of you, $111,000 a year it can be, on average. Lifetime stroke cost, $140,000. Funeral cost at the lowest level on average, $8,000. I'm just talking to you about the realities of what can happen. You could die, right? Someone in your family could die. Or it can end up to where they can't take care of themselves. So now you're taking care of them, or they're taking care of you. So a short-term investment, right? In one, finances, and also time, right? Because you got to be willing, because some of you will invest the money, but you won't invest the time, right? Because a lot of you have gym memberships, but you don't go, right? a lot of you have the money to buy better groceries, but you don't buy them. Or if you do buy them, you still eat out and you eat wrong. So everybody's issue isn't the finances. Some of you is just execution. You won't follow through. You will go on a trip, you'll buy a new car, you do all the different stuff that feels good right now. But none of that stuff will matter when you're in that emergency room, when you're in the ambulance, when half your face isn't, you're not gonna be able to move half your face because you had a stroke because you did not heed the warnings. And some of you, unfortunately, everyone's not gonna listen. If I can get one person to make this shift, I did my job. Some of you aren't going to listen, and unfortunately, you're going to suffer the consequences. But I don't want you to be a statistic, but it could happen. It's awfully expensive to not do anything. The cost of change to get a high quality program to really help you get to your goal, right? And you guys know how much it costs to really make a change because some of you have looked up how much does it cost for me to get weight loss surgery? Some of you have already had weight loss surgery. How much does it cost for these medications to make a real lifestyle change to get the help you need in a high quality program? I'm talking about the random person you found on Facebook Marketplace or, wherever you found them, someone to actually take you from A to Z, it's going to cost you probably $3,000, $6,000 over 6 to 12 months. A lot of you are like, oh, that's too much. But then you're going to end up paying $100,000, $140,000 later on in life. It's cheaper always to invest early than to wait later, right? Put in the chat, it costs too much. Within 6 to 12 months, you could drop 40 pounds, 100 pounds. We have multiple men that dropped 100 pounds less than 10 months, right? You can normalize your blood pressure levels, A1C, cholesterol, build habits that last decades. It costs too much not to make a change. And if you can't afford anything else, then you take what we've taught you today and you execute on it like your life depends on it because it does. That's the fact of the matter. A lot of people get I can't invest into this. Okay, fine. And then another thing is, okay, you did invest into it, or you did take the time for a short time, and then you get too ahead of yourself and you don't stick to the plan. You got to stick to the plan, right? It's not enough to just do it for 30 days or just for a year. The statistics show us that most people regain this weight within 5 years. We have to build it for a lifetime, or it's going to cost you way too much. And not just you, your family. You're going to you could become a dependent, meaning you can't take care of yourself. Who wants to be able to live a long, healthy life where they get to take care of themselves, move around, be independent? That's what I'm working on my grandmother for, so she can stay strong. My grandfather has dementia, so I'm like, we don't need both of y'all to be sick and not be able to be in your right minds. We got to keep you strong and keep you independent, right? So you have to make these changes because if you don't, I'm telling you, it will be too late. And all of the money you were trying to save, you will be going in so much medical bills that it'll be up to your eyes in medical bills because you want to make these changes. And some of you have been caretakers for your parents and grandparents. Has anyone been a caretaker for their parents, grandparents that just wouldn't take care of themselves? Right? We have to make these changes or it will change us. So here's a simple food prescription so you can change your life, right? And we're going to wrap up soon. So what you need to do is swap the salt. Too much sodium equals high blood pressure. So we want to really decrease how much sodium we're consuming. Potassium power. So potassium balances sodium, protecting arteries. You want to eat foods higher in potassium, right? Sugar, smart. Hidden sugars drive diabetes. You really want to, if you want to eat sugar, eat it intentionally, right? So I would much rather no, okay, I'm gonna have this ice cream bar, and that's where I'm getting my sugar from. Then you're not paying attention to the sneaky things and drinks and different foods that have high amounts of sugar in them. So be very intentional about when you want to consume your sugars. Meal sequencing. So protein and veggies first, steady your sugar levels, right? Get proteins and vegetables in first, and make sure we're having slow digested carbs, sweet potatoes, not French fries, all right? And then iron timing absorbs nutrition better, right? And so part 5, lifestyle prescription, walk it off. We talked about this yesterday. 10 minutes after each meal, keep sugar and pressure in check. Also, the 2 miles a day keep the belly fat away. Everybody put in the chat. 2 miles a day keeps the belly fat away. Right? Train to sustain. How many times a week should we be weight training? Put it in the chat. And then sleep and stress. Right? How many hours a night should we be trying to get of uninterrupted rest? All right. So we have the information, and you're gonna notice that we're hearing a lot of the same information over and over and over again. But that means we just need to implement. We just need to implement. We just need to implement. So If you forget everything else, here are our 6 rules. Swap the salt, potassium power, walk it off, train and sustain, time the plate, and mine minerals, right? I'm gonna drop this inside of the VIP Telegram. If you forgot it, I'll give you guys our VIP presentation. And then we have the live recording that'll be in the Facebook. It should be in the Facebook. I don't know. It should have been yesterday, but if it's not, it's on our YouTube. So I'll drop that in there. Um, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is this, ladies. The deadly trifecta destroys health quietly, but it's not inevitable. But it's not inevitable, right? So you don't have to have it. You can reverse it early, right? Be quick. Don't wait. And too late, you can manage it, but it's not erasable. So don't wait till it's too late because you don't want to live a life where you have to stay on medication because you waited too long, right? Every pound lost, every walk after dinner, every smart food swap counts. Medications may treat symptoms, but lifestyle treats the cause. And that's our mission here, right? At Bull Fitness. We want to treat the cause. We want to change the life. We don't want to just supplement it with medication so that you can manage it. We want to get rid of it. So this is our client Latifah. She dropped 100 pounds in 8 months with PCOS, high blood pressure, diabetes, and got completely off of medication, which is amazing, and got away from the deadly trifecta, right? My sister Jessica, she's now on her own journey. She's down over 25 pounds, and she's on her way to her first milestone, which was to get down 10% of her current body weight, where she started at 316.8. And this is my grandmother who waited too long. So she's going to probably have to stay on high blood pressure medication, but it doesn't mean we can't make some changes now. We're weight training twice a week. She's walking, and she's making better choices. So even if it's too late, you can still manage it like she is. But if you're in these stages where you can still make a change, you need to viciously pursue making this change. Don't delay. And so the forever game plan, know your numbers, master food habits, move with purpose, reduce triggers, and play the long game. Don't try to go for the shortcuts. The shortcuts always takes you on a longer path. And so here's the final message. You might think you don't have the time or money to invest in your health, but the truth is, if you don't change your life now, your life will change you later. And that's the message I want you to leave this with. If you don't change your life now, your life will change you later. At some point, it's going to cost you. You get to choose right now how much you want it to cost you, but later you don't get a choice. When you have a heart attack, you have the stroke, you don't have a choice anymore because now it's going to demand everything from you, not just money, right? Not just money, because some of you have the money, but your ability to work, your ability to be there for your family, to play with your grandkids, to play with your kids, to make it to that graduation, to make it to that event, right? To continue to do the things that you like to do, to go on that trip. You're going to steal that from yourself sooner than you think, right? Someone on here right now, you might be a month away from having a heart attack if you don't make this change. I don't want you to, but that's the reality. So it will cost you your health, your independence, your time, and your family's money. The choice is simple. Make the investment now or pay the ultimate price later. Change your life before your life changes you. The time is now. Every day you wait, the daily trifecta gets stronger. Every day you act, you get stronger. The choice and the power is yours. And that is the message for today. Act now, not later. You have everything you need to make this change. Do what you have, do what you can with what you have. Listen, ladies, do what you can with what you have because what you have is more than enough. What you have is more than enough. Don't make excuses. Oh, I need somebody to be there. If I just knew this, if I just knew that. I made a 7-day challenge. Follow it. If you don't know how to do anything else, keep following it. If you can't afford nothing else, keep following it. Don't make excuses. Act now, not later, because later might be too late and you might not get another chance. That's just the reality of the situation. If you want to work with us like Latifah did, like some of our clients, Lauren did, we work with women across North America and Europe, and women in Europe as well. And a lot of our clients have been able to get off of medication completely, even clients that are in their 50s and 60s. You can DM us the word private on Instagram or the text reminders that you've been getting for the meetings. You can just text the word private. We'll send you a link. You'll be able to learn more about our private program. And if it makes sense, you'll be able to book a call and you'll be able to talk to me this week. So if this is something that you're like, okay, I've been pushing it off too long. I do need to make a change. I need to go ahead and just get to health and get this weight off and get my health under control. Go ahead and set up a call with me. DM us the word private or text me the word private, and we'll send you over a link so you can go ahead and book a call. Other than that, y'all, we have an important class tomorrow. Everyone needs to be here. Lottie everybody for the Accelerated Weight Loss Master Class. We'll have something special at the very end of that class. And also, we'll be halfway done the 7-day challenge. So if you've been coming, if you've been showing up, if you've been hitting your miles, if you've been tracking your food, if you've been doing the hard work, the things that most people will not do because they just won't commit because they don't have the winning mindset, then you should be super proud of yourself, right? So I want you to put in the chat, I'm proud of me. And I want you to clap it up for you in your house because I'm clapping it up for you. I'm proud of me, right? Tomorrow makes halfway through. Being a woman of your word, being a person of your word is a requirement if you want to change your life. You have to be someone that commits to your word if you want to change your life. If you do not commit to your words, if your words mean nothing, you will never change your life. Does that make sense? If you're a person that says things that doesn't do them, you're lying to yourself. I'm going to give it to you plain. Winners have to tell the truth to themselves because you have to follow through what you say. So if you join the challenge, you said, I'm going to do all 7 days, then you need to be here all 7 days on the lives, on the walks, tracking your stuff, doing everything in your power to make it hard to fail. Losers look for reasons why they can fail, and it's okay. Winners find ways to not fail. They're gonna make it as hard as possible to fail. They're gonna make it super difficult. They're gonna do everything in their power to be prepared, to be on time, to execute, to hit their goal. I'm not ever gonna promise it's easy, but it's worth it. And the process is simple if you'll show up. There's a few of you on here that will show up and see this through, and they're gonna take this momentum. And whether you continue to work with us or you just have the right tools, you're going to take it all the way to the moon. You're going to drop all the weight and you're going to completely transform your life. And some of you it's going to take a couple of times, and that's okay, right? We'll have another challenge. But I know there's a few of you that are on right now. There's like Jeremiah, you're hitting it on the head for me. I've tried this a lot of times and I never follow through, but this time I'm going to follow through, right? For some people, it takes 10 times, 100 times, but you never stop. You never quit. You never stop trying. You never stop trying. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. But you have to come with the right mindset, which is I will commit, not try. Put in the chat, commit, not try. People that lose, that don't follow through, that don't reach their goals, they try. Trying is for people that aren't serious. You're an unserious person if you try things. If you commit, you're a serious. Why are you so serious? Until you start getting that, you're so serious. Oh, you're so obsessed with working out and eating right. Until you start getting that, you're not committed enough because people aren't seeing that you're really serious about this. Once people see you, oh, it's a little drizzle outside, and you're still going to get that walk in, or you're going to take that ride to the treadmill, or you took that flight for work or for vacation, and as soon as you got there, you got on the treadmill, got your miles in. That's when you know, and people will know, and they will see you're different than them. And to be a person that's committed is to be a person that is different. To be a person that is committed is to be a person that is different, that is not like those around them. Most people can't follow through with anything. That's why people end up getting sick and they die. It's unfortunate, but a lot of people know what to do. They know they need to eat better, but they can't stop themselves. They just can't because they can't. They've spent so many years saying they're going to do something and not doing it. They have no confidence in themselves to follow through. And that's why I'm here for you. I'm your guide. That's why you have the community. That's why you need to come here every single day and listen. And you need to be filled up with one, the truth, positivity, right? And be affirmed that you're on the right path because there's not a lot of people you have access to that are going to be able to do those things. Remember, y'all, what we listen to, who we speak to, what we watch, what we eat is going to dictate what we do. The more positive things that we listen to, the more positive things that we see, the better food that we eat, the better people we spend time around, the better our life becomes. That's why when you're eating terrible, you don't want to do anything. You want to lay around, you want to watch TV, you feel unmotivated, you feel you can't stay consistent. As soon as you start eating better, as soon as you start coming to these lives, as soon as you start posting in the community and people are supporting you, as soon as you start, oh my gosh, I feel good. I finished my workout. I feel like I'm showing up. As soon as you write your affirmations, your mood improves. From day one to now, who feels better? Put me coach in the chat. From day one to now, we're only on day 3. From orientation, a lot of you felt better just from hearing those affirmations, from knowing there's other people there that are on the same journey as you, from hearing someone tell you that you can do it. You are a winner, right? And you have to continue to affirm yourself when you're feeling weak, when you're feeling lazy, because laziness is a disease that has infected so many people. And when you get in conversations with people, they're going to call you and tell you, it's okay, girl, you're so busy, don't worry about it. They're going to call you into death. You understand? People will comfort you into death and sickness because they don't want to keep it real with you because they won't keep it real with themselves. Right? But I can keep it real with you because after we get off this call, I'm going to run 6 miles because I'm a man of my word. I'm a winner. I'm committed. Right? So I know I can speak on it because I live it. People can't speak on it so that because they don't live it, so they can never guide you to the right direction. They can only guide you in the direction that they're living in, and they lie to themselves and they're uncommitted. So when you start to become committed, you start to become uncommon, and you can't get along with a lot of people, right? The conversations you have with people has to become shorter when it comes to improvement because, like I said, people get serotonin, they get endorphins from having conversations about what they're about to do. We get serotonin and endorphins from doing and completing. That's what feels good to us because we're winners. We want the result. We want to get off medication. We want to get rid of this big fat belly. We want to have our energy. We want to feel good, right? We want to be able to spend time with our grandbabies, with our kids, with our family. We want to fit to that outfit. That's what we want. We don't want to keep talking and talking and talking. You got to be serious. You got to be very serious about yourself because other people will comfort you into death. They'll comfort you into the hospital. And then when you get to the hospital, like, oh my gosh, what happened? They're going to act like they don't know what happened. Girl, I told you I need to walk 2 miles and you told me to go to happy hour with you. You told me that I earned to go to happy hour with you. And now I had a heart attack. And your family will talk you. Listen, I'm just telling you the truth. Am I lying? Yes or no? You got to realize one, a lot of times you're on this mission with the people that you know, it come down to you. They might feel like, oh, you're doing too much and let you do too much. That's why you got to have a community with us. That's why you got to have the people on this call. You got to have me. You got to have someone that understands and be able to borrow our confidence in the process because the people around you, they don't get it because they don't live it. They're not living in a winning mindset. And guess what? When you hit your goal, they're going to say, how did you do it? Right? How did you do it? Right? And then you become a light. You go from feeling like, oh my gosh, nobody understands what I'm going through because they don't, to they're going to be asking you, how did you get there? Because, like I said, it's uncommon. They don't get it. You have to be committed. You need to clone Jeremiah for everyone. No, you just got to come to the live calls. Listen, we've had women across the world transform their life. And one of the most powerful things you can do is take advantage of these live calls. The people that signed up and don't come to the calls, they're not serious. You sign up for something to change your life and you don't go. You're not serious. You don't want to change. That's it. Because even if you are driving, even if you're working out, even if you're cooking, listen. You can listen. Right? So you should feel good about yourself that you're here because you took action to show up. Just showing up and listening. But anyways, everybody, tomorrow be here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Believe it or not, you're rewiring your brain just by listening to me every day. Just feed the truth and positivity and motivation and focus into you. And when you go and you execute, oh my God, you're building up confidence that you didn't have 4 days ago. So you have it's very, 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 very important that you continue to show up. And if you didn't do your 2 miles yet, put in the chat finisher. If you already hit your 2 miles, put winner. And if you didn't do your 2 miles yet, put finisher. If you haven't been tracking your food properly, shame on you. You need to start tracking it, not with your eyeballs. You need to actually weigh your food out ahead of time, prep a few days, prep it for the rest of the week. If you haven't done it tonight or tomorrow, prep the rest of the week tomorrow. Have it prepped out using a food scale and weigh yourself each day this week. You need to see if what you're doing is working. Okay? Don't wait till Sunday and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't lose any weight. Yeah, because you weren't doing all the steps in the program. Remember I told y'all yesterday, avoidance leads to an extreme loss. You only gain 100 pounds by not looking at the scale for 8 months. You didn't look at the scale for a whole year. That's why you gained 100 pounds. You didn't look at the scale for 5 months. That's why you gained 50 pounds. Don't avoid what needs to be focused on. You track what you lack. If you're struggling with your weight, then you need to weigh yourself. You need to weigh your food. You need to track your food. We should be able to look over 30 days and be like, I ate this on this day and I ate this many calories. And I know for a fact I had this many calories because I prepped ahead of time and I had it calculated. That's all on point you have to be. Most people don't understand what it takes to change their life. I'm telling you what it takes. There's a level of precision that it takes. When y'all go online, y'all see people transform their life. They are fighting. It's challenging, but they're working. And it's not always sexy. Like I said, do it ugly, but it's got to get done. You got to track what you lack. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. You're going to need a coach. If for most of you, you're going to need a coach and guidance. There's a small percentage of people that can do this on their own. The vast majority of people need coach. And even I'm not going to say a coach is the only thing. You need to have a coach, and you inside have to make a decision that goes, I am not going to turn back. I'm not going to go back to my old ways no matter what. I got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired because you can have a coach and still fail because you haven't made the internal decision, right? You can have all the tools and still fail. Like some of y'all are going to do the 7-day challenge. It's just the real. It's of it. Even though it's laid out for you and it's the simplest thing you could do. But you could try again when we have another one. You could try again until you finally get it. Until you have, until you're fully committed, until you're fully committed internally. Even if you have a coach, if you're not fully committed, it's nothing the coach can do. It doesn't matter if they're in there in your face, because guess what? You're gonna be on your own for majority of the time, no matter what. No one's gonna be following you around all day, telling you what to do. And even if they were, you're grown. You're gonna do what you want. It is what it is, right? So you have to make an internal decision that goes, I want this change so bad. I just don't know what I should be doing, and I need help. And once you're at that place, that's when you can make the change, right? But remember, it costs too much to wait. It costs way too much to wait. And what you do is what you become. Everybody have a blessed night. Like I said, if you want to learn more about our private program, DM us the word private or text us the word private, and you'll be able to learn more about our private coaching program. And you can book a call with me if that's something that is important to you. Other than that, be blessed by the best. Peace out. If you enjoyed this call, put thanks, coach, in the chat. Peace out. Peace out. Everybody have a blessed night.
I stopped it.